Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about everything about the ChatGPT, including the prompt engineering techniques, how to write an efficient prompt. And other than the prompt engineering, I'll be talking about all the tools and extra features that exist in this interface. For example, all the tools that you are looking at over here. What is the difference between the dictate mode and the voice mode? How to attach photos, files, and what kind of files we can attach along with the prompt that we can write, and what are the apps we can connect with it. On the left side, we can see that we can use custom GPTs or we can use the built-in GPTs. How we can build our own custom GPT to actually allow protected data to be accessed by the ChatGPT to generate an efficient response from us. What are projects? What are the different settings that ChatGPT provides us and how it can improve our workflow? What are schedules and how to create one, when to use which model which is being shown over here. I'm using $20 monthly subscription of ChatGPT, so I'm going to be talking about everything that is included in this interface. So starting off with how to write a prompt, how to give instruction to the ChatGPT, and this is what most of the people do. People just come here, write something and want to get the response without caring about what are the tools that they need to use, what are these tools do actually, and how to use this dictate and voice mode and all the tools which are available in the settings, custom GPT and all these things. So I will start off with how to write an efficient instruction to the LLM. LLM means, if I talk about LLM, it's called large language models. It means I'm talking about whatever the model I have selected from here, whether it's GPT-4o, O3, O4 mini, or whatever the model you are looking at here, right? And also DeepSeek is also an LLM, Grok is an LLM, Gemini is an LLM, and I will be talking about the GPT specific LLMs in this video, right? So now the prompt engineering is an efficient way how to provide an efficient instructions to the ChatGPT so that we can get a quality response out of these LLMs, out of any of these models exist in the ChatGPT. So in order to write an efficient prompt, in order to provide an efficient information to the LLM, we need to follow few rules. So one thing that you need to remember is to remember this craft framework. Remember this word because it is going to help us crafting the prompt in order to receive a quality output from the ChatGPT. So craft means that context. Context means if we want to define some kind of goals and we want to provide some kind of knowledge to LLM so that it can understand our problems, it can understand our situation that we are in right now. It can be related to programming, it can be related to anything else, whether we are writing a content about any topic. So giving a context is too essential when we want to generate a useful response out of these LLMs. Second one, R means provide a role. This role is something that we want to give to the LLM. Like we want LLM to consider itself like an expert programmer, or we can provide a role to LLM that consider yourself to be a very beginner programmer. Let's say that I have a 10 years of web development experience and I'm writing a prompt. Then I want to give a role to this LLM that consider yourself 10 plus years of web development experience, and then I want you to help me create a note-taking web app so that the code that it is going to write for me, it is going to follow the same kind of experience that I have, that I am expecting it from here. But if I'm beginner, I'm learning things from this LLM, like how to write a code in JavaScript or Java, then the output that it is going to generate, if I give it a role that consider itself a beginner programmer, then it's not going to be too efficient because the easy code is something which I will be able to understand because I'm a beginner too. So providing a role to the LLM is essential as well. So for example, we can give the role, consider yourself an expert programmer, consider yourself as an 20 plus years in the content writing, consider yourself as a good civil engineer having a 20 plus years experience in this company. So the role to the LLM is pretty important. Third thing is A means that providing an action. The action means that outlining or sequential steps for LLM to follow. Use numbered lists to maintain logical flow or coherence. So action is very important. It is not always required, but it is important to clear your requirements to the LLM. So action is the one that you need to remember. Next one is the format. What kind of output format we are expecting from LLM, from ChatGPT to give it to us. For example, we are asking it to generate a content. We want to give it a format that I want you to create an output in bullet format. I want you to create an output in tabular format. I want you to write me a code, and along with that code, I want you to write a description of that code as well, right? So format is very important. Again, I'm telling you some shortcuts that you need to remember. You just need to remember craft word, and then you will be able to generate a prompt pretty quickly. And I will be giving you an example of the whole craft after I'm covering all these 5 topics of prompt engineering. Then the last one is the T. It means target audience. For which audience we are generating the content, we are generating the output from the chat GPT. So it can be the audience who knows programming, it can be the audience who are children, it can be the audience who are old people. So we want to tell the audience so that it knows what kind of output it needs to generate. Maybe we want to give the audience that the people who only knows Spanish, who only knows English, who only knows Arabic. So we want to give the target audience name so that it can generate a proper output, right? So this is the craft model. This is pretty important, and I would suggest you to always follow this framework craft. So let's give you an example. Let's say that there is an example that I want to create a REST API using Node and Express, and I want to define a prompt. So quickly, I've already having a note, so I'm going to copy paste a few things that I will be defining. Let me stop it. So this is the prompt which I already wrote. So this is the context. I'm building a RESTful API with Node and Express, and I need to ensure proper error handling across all endpoints. I could have defined more information over here that I want you to use which version of Node and Express. This is something you can define as well. And I could have defined the context about whether I want only node specific APIs or using an Express, something like that. The role which I have given to it is you are an experienced backend developer specializing in Node with over 10 years of experience, so that the code that it is going to generate is pretty good, because I have asked it that you are 10 years experience. This is what ChatGPT needs to consider itself. Then I have an action: identify common error handling best practices for the REST API, explain how to implement centralized error handling in Express, provide a sample code demonstrating error handling in the basic API. So these are the basic action which I have provided to it. And then I have provided a format, code snippets with explanatory comments. So I want it to generate the code snippets explaining the RESTful APIs using Node and Express. Along with that, I want it to write the comments so that I can understand what each line of the code is doing as a part of the format of the output that I want LLM to generate. Actually, last thing is intermediate Node.js developers familiar with the Express basics. Okay, so it knows that the people that it wants to generate the output for are not so much expert. They are an intermediate level node knowledge, but they are having a beginner level knowledge of the Express.js. Okay, so after defining the prompt by following the craft framework, this is a pretty good structure of the prompt. So although it is going to take some time, but before using AI or LLMs, we could have spent a whole day to create the code. But if we need to spend 5 minutes to organize a prompt, it's still worth it. So spend time, few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, organize a prompt so that you can get a proper output of it. And you should not say that the LLM is not helping me out. The main reason is that you are not able to define or structure the prompt according to the LLM or prompt engineering techniques. Now, before talking about the different tools available in this interface of ChatGPT, I want to give you some cheat sheet of a prompt engineering, how to write an efficient prompt. And I would request you guys to make a print out of that cheat sheet and thus just put it like a sticky note, okay, anywhere. So first one is that whenever you want to start a prompt, avoid start with can you words like I would like you to, something like that. Or some people, can start right, please. So the thing is that this LLM does not have emotions. Okay, so when you write such kind of words, it is not going to affect the prompt, but it's going to waste your time. It's just a one few words, but if you have a typing speed pretty slow, it's going to waste your time. Don't write the word please or please do it and just requesting it. Just start the prompt with the words like write. You can start the prompt with the words like generate, analyze, or anything such kind of words. Okay, next point which I want to talk about, you have to always include the tone while writing a prompt. So tone means that are you comfortable, or are you angry while writing the prompt, and the tone that the LLM, you are expecting LLM to generate an output in, like the tone of maybe a simple English grammatical tone. It can be the casual tone, it can be the verbal tone, and what kind of tone it needs to use when giving the response to you. And then obviously I've already talked about the target audience, what kind of target audience we are expecting ChatGPT to know in order to generate the response. And then it's better to show different examples. When we want ChatGPT to generate a code of Python that sorts an array, then maybe you want to share a sample code that this is how I write the code, so ChatGPT know how complex the code it is, which is already written by you, whether it includes the comments or not, whether it includes multiple files, or everything is being combined in one file. So the example is going to help LLM to generate a new response by following the example which you have already shared with it. Okay, next thing is you should provide the role. I've already talked about that. You need to provide the role, whether the LLM is an expert AI engineer, senior doctor, fluent English speaker, or fluent Spanish speaker. These kinds of roles we can provide to the ChatGPT in order to generate the response. Next point is limitation. This is also very important. What kind of output format or the length of output you want LLM to generate? For example, you want it to generate an essay on some topic, and you want to limit ChatGPT that I want you to generate a 500 words of essay on lines, on AI engineering, on prompt engineering. So it knows that this is the limit and it needs to follow the limit. It can be the minimum limit, it can be the maximum limit. It's not just the length, it can be the number of words you can define, it can be the paragraph, how many paragraphs should be there, without caring about how lengthy one paragraph would be. Okay, and for limiting it, you can actually use the word like avoid, you can use the word like focus. Okay, so these are the words you can use for limiting about anything, or consider setting the number of paragraphs like this. So these kinds of words are useful for setting the limitations. Output format I've already talked about. We can define it like a bullet points, we can define it like a table form, we can define it like a create a PDF. For example, we want it to generate an essay on some topic, and we want LLM to generate a PDF file out of it, so that we can download that PDF file later on. So we can ask it to generate TXT files, we can ask it to generate a coding file that we can generate and download out of it, right? Then one important point, when you have a bigger problem, for example, you have an idea of web application that you want to generate, then let's say that a bigger problem about a whole web project. I don't want LLM to get confused about all the requirements. The best way is to divide the bigger problem into the smaller features and ask those features step by step from the ChatGPT. Otherwise, it will not be able to generate a good response for your question. It will not be able to help you generate the whole code of the whole application at once. Okay, so it's better to divide a bigger prompt into the smaller ones. You know what are the features. Maybe you can start with that. This is the idea I have, and I want to move forward step by step. Let's start with choosing the technology first. Okay, let's start with the system design. Let's start with architecturing the project before coming to the actual writing the code, how to create a nav bar, how to create a footer. So the dividing a bigger problem into a smaller problem is very important as well. Next thing, I will be showing you how to generate images using this create image tool, which is showing over here. But there are some best practices of generating an image. One is that we always need to define the subjects. It can be the cat, it can be the dog, it can be the horse, it can be the human, computer, mouse, bicycle, car, whatever the subject we want to generate. So this is important when generating an image. It's not just about the ChatGPT, but if you are using any other tool. So the prompt engineering techniques which I'm talking about here, and all the cheat sheet which I'm sharing with you guys, these rules are needed to be followed or can be followed with other LLMs as well. No matter you are using DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, or Midjourney for generating an images, you can do this. Next thing, you always need to define the description for generating an image. This is very important. You always need to define the dimension, what would be the size of it, whether it's a portrait or the landscape mode. This is important. You can define it in the form of pixels. You can define it in the form of, the ratio of the image. This is important as well. Then style is very important. Style can be whether you want to generate image in 3D format, in a sketch format, in the art form, anything like this. Okay. Then we can again spice up the character. Maybe let's say that you want to generate an image of a dragon or a horse, then you can spice it up with the maybe an angry dragon, or red head dragon, something like that. This is what you can do it. Last tip which I want to give you, let me share with you all the points which I have just talked about in a paragraph. So these are all the points. Let me add it over here. Let's stop it. Now, these are the points I've already talked about. The last point, which is the tip, which is very important. Some people are not good in vocabulary. Some people are not having a good grammar skills. Okay. What they can do is they can just break down their ideas in broken words and ask LLM to refine your prompts. It is helpful when you are out of vocabulary, are struggling to express your ideas. Okay, so this is very important. So if you are not good in speaking, writing in any language, then you can even ask LLM to first refine your prompt. Okay, and then you can talk about solving problems, generate the response, whatever you want to do. All right, guys. So I've talked about the craft and I've given you some cheat sheet. I would like you to take a screenshot of this, maybe take an output, print that out, put it on your wall, and always follow this cheat sheet whenever you want to generate a prompt. Now, moving forward, I'm going to start talking about the different tools available, adding files, different deep research, web search, canvas, voice mod, dictate mod, custom GPT, scheduling, tasks, and projects. Before talking about any of these tools, I want to talk about the different models, different LLMs that ChatGPT have. So there are different techniques that we need to choose which model is best for which kind of prompt. So it is showing that great for the most tasks. So for generating a small code snippets, for generating the content, for generating an essay or the paragraph, this 4O model is really good. So whenever you have a basic or a small task, you can keep using model 4O or 4.1 because it has a big limit that you can utilize on your daily to daily tasks. And models like the O3, O4 mini, O4 mini high, or a 4.5 have a less limit. So if you are keep using the O4 mini 4.5 all day, you will end up utilizing all the tokens of that particular model. So always use these kinds of advanced models when you have some kind of big to generate the results. For example, you want to share thousands of page within a PDF and you want it to go through all the pages and you want it to research about that and you want it to generate a compiled essay out of that thousands of pages of the book, then these advanced models are pretty good. Or you want to share multiple coding files, you want it to generate a very good code for a whole note taking app. it require a lot of files to be generated. Then you can choose these kinds of advanced models. But for basic tasks, most of the tasks, 4 model 4.1 is pretty good. And about the limit, then obviously, as I've already told you, 4.5 have a less limit, 4.003 have a less minute limit, and 4.1 and 4.0 are pretty much having unlimited limit. In fact, 4.0 have, every 3 hours it gets refreshed. So I probably it has a limit of 80 to 100 messages, which is too much. So we can keep using that. And these kinds of having a limit of, you can say 50 messages per week or 50 to 100 messages per week. So these are not quite a lot. So you need to think about which model is best, and you don't want to end up all the tokens of these advanced models. Okay, so that's about the LLMs. So now coming back to the different tools that we are having. First one, if we click on this plus, we are able to attach photos or the files. So why we need to attach files or photos? Let's say that I want LLM to get the content from a screenshot that I might have taken from online. Let's say I'm watching a video, a YouTube video, and the code for that video is not shared by the creator of that video. So what I can do is I can pause the video, I can take a screenshot of the code, and I can share a screenshot over here. And what will it do is I can ask ChatGPT, please convert, extract the code which is written in this screenshot, and then just print that same code. So within less time, I'll be able to copy paste that code rather than pausing the video and writing that code myself. And it's not just about the code. I can take a screenshot about any character as well. LLM is pretty good in taking out the information, what the image is about and how the image is reflecting. For example, I have an image that have 10 different animals, and I want to ask what are the names of those animals out of this image. And ChatGPT is going to work pretty well in these particular cases. So, and this is about the screenshots. I can upload the files. For example, I can upload this one of my certificate. This is a PDF file. I can upload the TXT files. I can upload the any coding files like the .js file, .ts file. It will be able to generate that. Can extract out the content from this PDF file. Okay, so this is a pretty small line. I'm just elaborating you, although I have to follow a complete prompt engineering techniques. But for such kind of things, like if I don't care about the format, if I don't care about any role, if I don't care about the target audience, then this line is enough as well. Okay, so this is the information that it has generated. Okay, so it means that it is able to generate the content, fetch out the content from the PDF files, from TXT files, and we can actually allow or give access to our external drive, Google Drive or Microsoft Office as well. So obviously these are protected, but if we want it to access the content from our Google Drive, from the Dropbox, from the SharePoint, from the Microsoft drives, then we can obviously give access. And these are not just two things that we want it to give access to. If I go to the settings, and if I go to the connectors, you can see that these are all the connectors that we can link with the ChatGPT, and it will be able to fetch the information from it, like Dropbox, Canva, Gmail, SharePoint. Yeah, so these are the connectors we can attach. Next thing is all these different tools. I'll come back to this. But first of all, let me talk about these two cool tools. So this is the dictate mode. Obviously, you need to allow your microphone to record a dictate mode. If I click on it, what I can do is I can actually ask it to listen me, and it is going to generate a prompt. It is going to write the content, what I'm speaking on this text box. Now I have already spoken, and if I just stop it, now it is going to convert what I've just spoken. You can say it has written this. So if you have less time, if you are using a mobile phone, and if you are a slow typer, you can always, click on it and you can generate a prompt yourself. Obviously, for giving the context, in the form of the screenshots, photos, files, you have to manually, come to this, and you can actually attach different files or the PDFs. So it's pretty cool. I always use this when I'm using ChatGPT on my mobile phone. And this is a voice mod. Voice mod, most people already using it, so this is not going to generate a prompt. In fact, it is going to listen to us, it is going to understand us, and it is going to give the response in the not in the written format but in the voice format. So if I click on it, I'm just going to ask it that, okay, who are you, and can you please help me in generating the note taking app. So please help me generate a note taking app in JavaScript, React. So don't say too much about it, just say me yes or no whether you can generate it or not.
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to help you generate a note taking app in React. Feel free to let me know the details you'd like to include, and we'll dive right in.
Okay, so guys, I think you did not, maybe I'm not sure whether you listened this or not, but it actually told, and in a voice mod, I was able to hear it. Okay, that whether it is generating, and it has actually generated this written content as well, that what it spoke to me. So it is pretty cool. Whenever I'm you know I'm feeling bored and I want to discuss about some things about history, about any coding, about the AI developers, future of developers, whether AI is going to replace the job of developers. I just come here and talk to it, and it is able to generate the response. And it doesn't only speak in English; it can actually speak in Urdu, Hindi, any language that you talk about, all the major languages that it supports. And if I show you, these are the different languages that it is able to speak in. So you can select a specific language and it will be able to generate the response. And now auto detect means that whatever I'm speaking, the auto detection means that if I'm speaking Urdu, Arabic, Spanish, English, it will be automatically able to understand my language actually, and generate the response accordingly. Okay. And then the output of voice, these are the output voices that we can select. Any voice we like, we can actually select it from here, and we can change the settings from it, right? So this is about the dictate mode and the voice mode. So before moving further, I just want to let you guys know I'm an AI trainer. I guide or mentor other developers how to vibe code, how to write an efficient prompts, to build a whole projects without writing a single line of code yourself. We can use AI tools to generate the designs, to write the code, and test the code only with the help of AI using vibe coding techniques. So you can contact me on my LinkedIn profile. The link of my LinkedIn profile is on my channel for any kind of development services you might have. So now moving forward, I want to talk about all of these tools that are showing here, which is newly added agent mod. It is quite powerful. It is not a simple AI assistant that you write a prompt and then ChatGPT is going to generate the response. It works like a real assistant, not just a chat. Like it runs on a virtual computer. For example, you want it to plan a complex trip, and that trip require research to the third party services that might be protected, that might be private. Obviously, for protected data you will need to give access to that protected data. For example, the hotel's details you might have on your Excel sheet on Google Drive, then you need to give access to that before talking further about it. So these are the examples of it. For example, purchase 2 movie tickets for this Sunday. So what it will do, it will go to it will ask a question like, what kind of cinemas, what is your location, we want it to book 2 tickets for this Saturday, and it's going to automatically go to their websites like a virtual human being representing you, and it's going to book the ticket. And obviously you need to if it require your intervention, your interaction, for example adding a payment details, adding the card details, or a confirmation, then you will have to interrupt, you will have to interact yourself, and it will help you. It will ask you to interact with the system or a browser tab that it has opened for you. Okay, it is like an assistant that is helping you for the 90% of your task, for doing any kind of task, like a virtual assistant that you have hired. Like create a list on Google Maps for the best bakeries, compare culture rise of Labubu to this baby. So these are the different examples. We can just select this suggested. According to our prompt, we can select the report. We want to generate the report, but only select this agent mode when you want it to access other third party tools that require complex human interaction, and it will work like a virtual human on behalf of you to interact with those tools and help you perform that particular task. Otherwise, just generating the content, we don't need to select the agent mode. This is the action, you can go through it. This is a spreadsheet, we can generate the presentations. For example, I have this example that, let me share it with you. If I select a agent mod, and this is an example, planning a complex trip, it researches flights and hotels automatically like a virtual human, compares prices, that which one suits me. It knows what kind of budget I have. It might ask me a question as well, that what is the budget, and builds a slide deck or spreadsheet summary, generating a meal plan, find receipts, bills, grocery lists. So this is a too much things. Okay, it might take me a lot of time to research through it and generate the content of it, as well as make modification on those tools which it is actually doing. And if I want it to plan a complex trip, it might need to set a reminder on my calendar on my Google account, so I will have to give access to it. Okay, this is the agent mode that can do much more than just not just an AI assistant who can generate the content, right? So I'm just quickly moving forward to the different tools. I would like you to use this agent mod. I've already tried this particular prompt for myself and it works pretty good. There are some lags a bit because it's still new, and I think it's in beta version, but hopefully with time it is going to improve a lot. And if you try this out, let me know in the comments below what do you think about it and how well it works. Next topic is deep research. I have seen some news that many people are writing their research papers, their master's research papers, or the PhD research papers using the help of these research. Imagine that you want to write a research paper of how many children in a country are not going to school. You have to go to the hundreds of resources, news channels, agencies, blog posts, YouTube videos, and all these things. But if you enable this research, it is automatically going to go through hundreds of papers, hundred of blog posts, hundred of websites research, and then compiling all the information that it is going to get and give you some information. For example, recently help me find the top companies of IT who is hiring remote developers, maybe top 10 companies. If I hit enter, it's going to ask me a few questions. Are you looking for a full-time, part-time job? So one, any. Let me write for two. Let's quickly do that. Any, three. I don't want to spend too much time for the sake of this video. I want to quickly move forward. So company, okay, you can give appropriate answers. So now it is going to start researching. What it's doing, it's actually going through the internet. It's actually researching the hundreds of websites, blog posts, videos, whatever the public information it is able to access. And it will be able to access the current information as well. The LLMs are not able to fetch the current information by itself, but if we enable this deep research mod or the web search mod, it will be able to get the live information. I'm going to talk about the web search right now. So it's going to take few minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, depending upon what we have asked it to. Okay, I'm gonna stop it for now. Okay, I don't want it to go to the internet for me. So in this video, I'm only focusing and giving you some introductory level information about all of these different tools. Okay, and then again, creating an image. I've already given you the best practices of creating an image in the cheat sheet of the prompt engineering, and you remember subjects, description, dimension, styles, and spicing up the content. And recently when we select this image mod, they have shown us these different types of styles. I talked about the art 3D styles in cheat sheet. So these are the some styles that we can define. For example, I can have this is the style. Okay, So create a retro, and this is a example prompt following the best practices of the prompt engineering, and obviously we can modify it according to our needs. Let's say that we don't want to create uh, a cat. I don't see that it has actually written the cat over here, but it has helped me generate the prompt ourselves. And after this prompt, I can ask it to generate an image of a kid, of an elephant, and it is going to follow the same color scheme, same kind of style, same kind of mod, same kind of tone of the style which I have selected from here, which is pretty cool, right? And we can use this to generate the images with the help of prompts. Okay, now next thing we have is study and learn, which is recently added as well, and it is pretty cool, and I think it's new, so it will be modified a lot, it will be improved with time. So it is designed as an active learning assistant. For example, you want to learn a new programming language, a JavaScript or a Python that you don't know already. So it will guide you through the problems using, by asking questions, by understanding your level of thought processes. So this will live within the context of the learning. Okay, so it's like it will behave like a instructor, mentor, or the teacher, and help you learning different topics. So it is newly added, although we could have organized the prompt just without selecting this study mode, but in that case we would have to explicitly define the environment that it has to stick into. We have to explicitly define that you have to stick within the environment of being an instructor or the mentor or the teacher. So it can ask you a question, so it will always remain within the environment being an instructor and help you understand the different topics that you want to learn. So it is a very good tool if you want to learn new things, and if you want to learn HTML, I would suggest you to always keep it active, keep it on if you are learning something new. Okay, web research, as the name suggests, that if the ChatGPT does not know about the recent information. For example, I want it to give me the current weather details of London right now at this particular time. So it's going to search through the web and it give us the information. So it's pretty cool. When we know that the information is new, which is today and recently launched, then we can enable it and write the prompt. And this is the canvas. I really like it. Okay, whenever I want to generate the content like an email, an essay or a document, a proposal document, an estimation sheet, or I want to discuss about the code or the content or a concept which I'm talking about, then I always enable the canvas mode. So there are two types of canvases over here. One is the write canvas mode, and there is a code canvas mode. Okay, so now if I talk about this canvas, then let me define some prompt. So generate an estimation sheet that includes timelines of tasks and per hour rate. I want to build a simple note taking app with Next.js and Supabase as backend. Remember that I have enabled this canvas mode, and with the help of prompt, it will automatically know that whether I want to generate a code snippet or whether I want to generate a written text content. And there are two different types of the canvas mod, different for the write mod and different for the code mod. And this prompt which I have written over here is for the writing the content, but not the code mod. And let me show you what is the difference between these two. Now you can see that it has generated a different two windows, left and right. The reason it has generated two different windows because I enabled the canvas mod, and it is really going to help me out. And you know that by writing the prompt, it knew that I don't want to generate a code, but I want to generate a written content. That's why it has generated this content and not the code. And the difference between the write mod and the code mod is this thing. in the bottom right corner. I was coming back to this, but the cool thing about Canvas mod is that this is my co-partner. What do I mean by that? It means that the content that it has generated, I can collaborate with ChatGPT. I can collaborate with my partner, which is ChatGPT Canvas right now, to modify any of this. For example, it has generated an hourly rate $40 per hour. Let's say I want to modify it to 30. I'm directly changing the content. It's just like a Google Drive where multiple friends are trying to generate a content, and multiple people are contributing to that. So this is where me and my assistant, which is the canvas of the ChatGPT, we are contributing with each other on generating the content, and I can keep modifying, add new information over here, and and I can download this content. Click on it, we can download this content in the form of PDF, in the form of docs, or a markdown file as well. And you can see that we can add different bold the form or different these headings formatted, so we can format these things. Now the cool thing about this canvas mod, since this is a write and content mode of the canvas, without writing further prompts to modify the content over here, we can come over here and we can just ask it with some quick modification in the content. For example, I wanted to add the emojis. Okay, so if I click on it, it will give me some ideas that what kind of emojis I want to add in this particular content. And if I click on it, it will start regenerating this data, and it's going to add the emojis over here. If I go over here, I can add the final polish. So I can just ask it to maybe add the final polish. If there might be some grammatical mistakes, it might be resolving those. I can ask it to improve the reading level. For example, I can go up and down, and if I'm a beginner English reader, then I can ask it to generate the content which is easy to read. I'm a beginner English reader, so maybe I can ask it to generate the content which is related to the middle school student, or these kinds of options. Right now it has generated this of the level of, I think, the keep the current level, and then we can ask it to modify the length of this content by clicking over here and change the long and shorter, short, longest. These are the things. And lastly, I can click on it and I can suggest different edits. So this is about the canvas of the content mod, and these options will be changed when there will be a code snippet over here. So let me show you how the code snippet looks like. First of all, let's go over canvas, write a code snippet in Python for sorting an array. Okay, and if I hit enter, you will see that it is going to generate this code snippet. And if I generate the code snippet, first of all, I'm able to run the code directly in ChatGPT. It's not possible if we don't enable the canvas mod. It will be only be able to run these code snippets if I enable canvas mod, and it is specific to some major programming languages. I'm able to download this as well. It is able to download the sortarray.py file, and I can copy this code. And on the bottom right corner, now these options are different. These options were different when we had a content. Now these options are different when we have a code snippet. So the code snippet is that if we want to generate, add the comments as well in this code. This is specific to code. It will add the code. We can add some logs information, We can ask it to fix the bug. There is a bug and we can ask it to fix the bug, port it to language. For example, we want it to convert from Python to JavaScript. It will be able to convert that, and we can ask it to review the code. So these options are different. And again, just like the content, I can actually come over here. I can start modifying the content of this over here, right? This is a complete Python code editor. For example, it is having an IntelliSense enabled as well. For example, print, and now you can see that it has IntelliSense enabled, and I can start modifying this code as well. So it is a good partner of me whenever I want to write the code, and AI is going to help me write the code. Along with that, I can contribute myself in writing the code or writing the content using the canvas mod. Next thing I want to talk about is the projects. If I click on this new project, it's going to ask me to name the project. So it's just like categorizing multiple chats into one project, into one category. This is the purpose of it. For example, it is giving me an example that if we want to plan a birthday party, then I might need to start new chats every day to discuss about to discuss about this planning. So the benefit of it would be that the context that I will set to this project, I don't need to give the same context every time I start a new chat within one project. For example, I have created this project building Next.js project SaaS, software as a service, and I have already defined 4 files into it for it to follow some coding standards automatically, and I've already given some instructions. Also, this instruction is too short. Usually I would suggest you to give a longer instruction. So what will happen is, if I come over here and start a new chat, all the chats are showing below over here. All the chats will follow the context of these files and the instructions automatically. So it's going to save my time, and it's going to, solve problems automatically. The context, the role that it needs to provide, the output format that it needs to follow. I can just start a new chat and I can start talking about the next step of the project that I want to take. So it's very good. And you can see that it has automatically enabled these tools over here for this particular project. Dictate mode, voice mode are all enabled over here, and we can obviously upload that chat specific files or link those third party connectors with this particular chat that we just want to start with it. And I have other chats as well, like e-commerce. I've already defined the project files and the instructions for the chats for every chat within this particular project. So it's pretty cool. You can have project created for one type of project, and you can predefine some context that you might have. So this is about the projects and ChatGPT interface. Next thing I want to talk about is the GPTs. On the left side, if we click on the GPTs, here you can see that we have a lot of built-in GPTs, as well as we can create our own custom GPTs. I'll come back to that. Here we can select and filter out different kinds of GPTs, writing GPT, productivity GPT. So the benefit of starting a new chat within the custom GPT or a built-in GPT is that it will remain within the context of that GPT. For example, if we want to write some kind of research paper, we can select any of these GPTs. These are built by some major companies, and we can build and launch our own GPT as well for public to use. For example, we have the GPT Plus, Scholar GPT, Ask Your PDF. If we have something PDF that we want it to use and generate the research paper about it, we can actually select any of these, and we can see more of these, and it will remain within the context of that. And if we want to have some education related stuff, for example, math related questions, I don't want to start a new chat. Instead, I can open up this math solver. Let's click on that, and it's going to install in my interface. And it has this much rating, which is pretty good, I think, and this much conversation within this custom GPT. It is built by studyx.ai. And yeah, it has a good rating as well. And I can click on start chat, and it's going to start this custom GPT over here, and we can start out with these. So the benefit of this is that it's going to remain within the context of whatever the information, whatever the pre-context that the builder of this custom GPT have provided to date. So just like these GPTs, we can create our own custom GPT as well. On the left side, you can see that I'm using some of these, and some of the GPTs I have created myself. For example, I can go to the Next.js 15 GPT, which I have created, and all the conversations that I'll be doing in this particular chat, it will remain within the context of the guidelines, which I have already provided to this custom GPT. And REST API guide is something which I have created as well. You can see my name over here. JSON placeholder, this is one I have created as well. Humanize AI, this is not the one I created. This is built by this company. N10 assistant should also be built by this community. Okay, so if I go to the GPTs and click on the my GPTs from the top, it's going to show me all the GPTs which I have created. And if you want to create your own custom GPT, you can click over here. And it has two modes. One is the create mode, other one is the configure mode. In the create mode, you can start configuring the GPT just by writing the prompt over here with the help of AI. But if you want to go manually from the start, you can configure it from the start. So what it will include? First of all, you need to upload a logo. Then you need to define the name, then the description, then the instructions, then the conversational starters. What are the conversational starters? If I go over here, these are the conversational starters, that the initial starting point of every chat within this custom GPT where user should start with. Okay. Now I can go to the GPTs, click on my GPTs, and let me show you one of the GPT which I have already created. So now REST API guide, this is the name, this is the logo of it, and explain and demonstrate the REST API in programming language. This is the description. And these are all the instructions. What programming language I need to include in it. What kind of APIs I want it to generate. What are the conversational starters which is showing on the right of it. And whenever I'm actually, creating this custom GPT, I can actually see how it will be look like to end users. Okay. And obviously conversational with GPT can potentially reveal the part of the other files of the files, and initially for giving it a context I can upload different files. For example, I want to create a custom GPT about a Python or a JavaScript. I can upload a PDF file of a whole book of a JavaScript so that it knows the context taking from all the book which I might have written. You also need to care about some privacy policy and some terms and condition when you are uploading the content which is being written by someone else. Okay. And then what are the different models? Not recommended model. User will use any model they prefer. Okay. If I have some specification, it is related to code, I might need to go with some O4 mini high. These are pretty good model for writing the code. And if I don't want it to, user can actually select different models from here. It's up to the user who will be using this if I want to publish it to the end user. Otherwise, at the top left corner you can see that it is live, but it will only be visible to me only. Okay. What are the different capabilities it can have? It can web search, it can do the canvas, it can generate an image as well. I can enable this code interpreted as well, and I can update this GPT by clicking on the update button on the top right corner. Okay. Actions are the one if we want this custom GPT to access some private data, which requires some access token or the bearer token or client ID, client secret. I'm just going to show you how we can create different actions. So this is how you can create custom GPT and it will be visible over there. So if I go to this JSON placeholder, you already know this is a public API available online. All developers know. So if I click on the added GPT, here you can see that it has this name, logo, description, and the instructions. These are the conversational starters. And we can upload the files, and these are the some capabilities. And I already having this action already created. If I click on the settings, this is a public API, JSON placeholder API simulator. This is a public API. So for that reason, I have not configured any authentication. But if any API that you have built, that ChatGPT does not have already the information about your GPT, then you might need to add some authentication. For example, if your API require authentication token, then you can set the basic token, bearer token, custom token over here, so that whenever all the APIs that we are generating over here should use that authentication mechanism to call that API. Okay. This is a public API again, that's why I'm not using it. So this is the syntax of it. If you want to start building the schema, you can start with the blank template, and after that you can keep building different parts of it. And below this you can see that all the different parts are showing over here. This is the get method, get method, get method, get method. Obviously, this is the name of it. And this is being shown because of this JSON object, which is you can see over here. This is the initial base URL that you want to provide. And this is what will be added, appended, or concatenated after this particular URL. Okay. And what it will do is this is the name, summary, response, list of the posts, and we can keep on generating this post ID. We can in prompt we need to provide the ID of it, and it's going to take that ID from our prompt as well because we are using an AI. Okay. Get post by ID, simulate post by ID. So this is going to return the post in this particular format. And then we have all the users, to-dos. So now we can actually test this out over here. ChatGPT might be able to use these kinds of API calls in general chat as well. But if it is recently launched, then ChatGPT will not have any information, and for that reason we have to generate an action. If the custom GPT requires some custom API calls, the REST API calls that it needs to call off during our conversation while writing the prompts within this chat box. Okay. Again, if I go to this OAuth, we can add client ID, client secret, authorization URL for giving it access to any third-party tool as well, like the GitHub, like a Slack or the Notion. Then we can add client ID, client secret, so that custom GPT can actually access the projects within your chat GitHub profile, and whatever the need you might have. Okay. And once you create all the custom GPT, we can actually go over here, we can copy the link, we can share it with one of your our friends. So this particular GPT is shareable to the public, so you can see that anyone with the link can have access to it. I can click on it, share, only me, it will be protected. Anyone with the link, I want to copy the link. GPT store, if I click on it, it will ask me which category it belongs to, and then I can publish it. And for publishing it, one important thing that it will ask you to add is the it 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 require privacy policy document. Let's see if I added that over here. Yes, here you need to provide privacy policy document. Although this is some dummy URL, it is not a real URL, but still you will need to provide it so that it can be published for anyone to use. Okay, this is pretty cool if you are building a project and you have a separate backend. And if you want ChatGPT to access that protected backend APIs, then you can actually create a custom GPT, give it access to that API, so that whenever it generates the code for you during the chats, like over here, then it should actually generate a good response for API integration by calling the real API which you have built for your project. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So I've talked about the projects and the custom GPTs and building our own GPT as well. Next, I want to talk about few settings that it has. So first of all, I've already talked about some general settings: language, spoken language, and the voice, which we can set up. And then we can actually have these notifications. So these are two different types of the notifications. Response. We will be notified when ChatGPT responds to the request that takes time, like the research or image generation. Obviously, I showed you in this video that the research takes a lot of minutes. So whenever it generates, then it's going to give us the push notifications. Obviously, we need to allow the push notification in the browser as well. And then we have the tasks. I'm going to talk about the tasks. Tasks are just like a reminders we have on the mobile or on the desktop. We can set the reminders, and every day at 7 p.m. or every hour it's going to send us the reminder. It's not just the reminders, it will have an AI capabilities as well that I'm just going to show you. If I click on the manage tasks, I've already created one of the reminders for myself. Every day at 7 p.m. it sends me this information. So if I click on it, this is the name of my task: send AI programming news summary, and this is the information I have provided to it. Search for the latest news in AI related to programming, coding, LLMs, web development, cursor, and all other programming tools, and give me the information. And this is going to trigger daily at 7 p.m. I can pause it, I can resume it anytime I want. So every day it sends me to research the web. It sends me the latest information about the AI in the world going on related to these tools, like the Cursor AI editor, web development, LLMs, coding, whatever the information I have provided over here. We can define it weekly, monthly, annually, or the custom. We can change the time as well. Okay, so if I go inside, save. If I go inside, recent. So this is the information it provided me today. So every day it sends me the information. So I keep myself updated what's going on in the world related to AI with the help of these reminders. How cool is that? And it's not just a reminder, but it is using the AI capabilities, generating the information, going through the web, and then compiling the information for me with the help of AI capabilities that it has. Okay, so this is pretty cool, and you can actually generate your schedule, your task as well. So let's go back to the settings, notifications. These are the tasks. Okay. You can generate yourself as well. Then we have the personalization. We can enable disable memory. So all the chats that we have, whether we want ChatGPT to remember our conversations, like for me, I'm a coder, I'm a programmer. So ChatGPT remembers my previous conversations to help me generate the new responses according to my field, according to my context of the previous chats. Okay. Then reference, saved memory, reference chat, history, and we can manage all the memories that it has generated, and we can actually remove and delete all the memories that it might have stored. Okay. So this is how you can do it ourselves, and these are the connectors. We can connect the third-party tools with our accounts. Obviously, protected tools require permission, so this is how it is going to get the permissions. Then we have the schedules. I've already talked about the schedules over here. These are the tasks, and we should be enabling the push notifications if we have opened ChatGPT and we have the email. So every day at 7 p.m. it sends me an email that this scheduler have generated the content about AI for myself. So every day I open up on my phone that what's new in AI going on in the world. So enabling these kinds of notification really helps. Okay, I'll come back to this. There is one issue in it. I hope that ChatGPT is going to resolve it, but I'm gonna explain you how to fix that. Then the data controls. This is something we can manage about the data, archived chats, shared chats. What are all the chats we have shared with other people's? How many chats we have archived? How many chats we need to delete? And all these things. Then we have a security. Then we have the account, and these kinds of things are really important. Okay. Now, if I come to the schedules, if I click on the manage, here you will see that once I have created one schedule, it is not showing me any button where I can generate any other schedule, the second schedule, second reminder. It is not showing me, although there should be a button that create a second scheduler just so that it can open up this model, then we can define a schedule. So what happens is, in order to generate another scheduler, reminder, or a task, we can actually go to the new chat and make sure for creating a schedule we choose some kind of advanced model. Let's say O4 mini high. Okay. And I can uh, write a prompt: set a reminder and remind me every day at 4 p.m. to drink a glass of water. Although it doesn't require any AI capabilities, but just to show you that how to create a reminder after we have already created one reminder. Okay. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but let's see if it works or not. If I hit enter, it should generate a reminder. Okay, now it is scheduling a reminder. Let's see if it is able to generate that reminder or not. Finalizing the reminder setup. So this word really helps. So I think that it has generated a reminder pretty good. So I can click on that and you can see that it has generated that reminder just by writing a prompt, and make sure you select some advanced model. Okay, I can click on the save. And if I go to the reminders section, let's go over here. Let's go to the settings, schedulers, manage. And now you can see that there is a second reminder exists over here. So this is how you can generate more than one reminder just by writing a prompt. Although I'm hoping that they should add a button over here rather getting ourselves confused. Okay. Another thing that we can do is, although in the settings I showed you that we can enable memories. Okay, so that the chat gpt remember all the conversation, the instructions we have been discussing in all the chats, to optimize the future chat responses according to the programming or development that we have been doing. There is this icon, we can turn on the temporary chat, so it will not save anything. If we turn it on, it will start from a new topic. It will not remember what I have been discussing in the past in any of the chats. Okay, so this is the description that you can see. This chat won't appear in the history. Use or update ChatGPT memory or be used to train our models. For safety purpose, we may keep a copy of this chat up to 30 days. Okay, so this is pretty cool. If we want to start a new topic, let's say want to start talking about a history, then you can enable that and you can start a new topic rather than just remembering about your history. Okay. One last thing I'm going to show you, that when you create a new account in the ChatGPT, we can actually click on customize ChatGPT. Okay, and here you can provide the information about yourself. Like here I have provided that this is my name, this is how it should call me. Okay, if I say you how are you, then it should call me hi Umair, I'm good. Okay, so it knows who I am. And then I'm providing it my introduction that I'm a software engineer, so that it knows what is my background, which industry I belongs to. And usually I'm using ChatGPT for software related purposes, so this is going to help me understanding about myself and generate responses accordingly in a better way. Okay, and you can add some more details if you want, but I have not added any of such details over here. Okay, so this is pretty much it for this video. I have tried myself to cover each and every tool and the feature available in this ChatGPT interface. I'm sure that most of you have not been using all of these tools since you have started using ChatGPT. So I hope that this video have helped you understand all the tools, features, and available in this interface. Along with that, I'm hoping that you have learned something new related to the prompt engineering, how to write an efficient prompt. If yes, if you have learned something new, I would request you to subscribe my channel, like this video, and keep looking at my channel for upcoming videos as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in the next video.